of pregnancy, and a little bit about some of the new products that we are launching here at Quest. I just want to make sure that everybody is aware. My name is Jim, and Pindy's going to be doing the main part of the presentation, and we'll have an opportunity for questions at the end as well, if you have any. We do have a gift bag for you when you go, if you want to pick up, and some detailed product information if you feel it's necessary for yourself or to take back to your store and you're looking for product information. We can help you out with that. So taking notes, we can answer any questions we can at the end. So my name is Jim Choplin. I'm the sales manager for RX Balance. RX Balance is the owners of the Quest brand as well as Nature's Harmony. And Pindy Janda is a pharmacist. She's going to be doing the sort of technical side of things, a presentation today for you. So a lot of you may know Quest. Quest is a legacy brand. It's been around for quite a few years, since 1976. It's a multivitamin and mineral brand. And it has been in Canada, like I said, since 1976. It started out with basically 6 key products. The Super Once a Day is our flagship legacy product that many people know us for. But we have much more than that in our arsenal in terms of types of products. We were one of the innovators in the life stage and gender-specific multivitamins. And as I said, Super Once a Day. We also have a teen Super Once a Day and kids Once a Days that we've sort of been expanding into as well. We are a member of CHFA. We look forward to, if you're here on the weekend, to stop by. Feel free to ask us any questions. We're at booth 844 on the show floor. So we'd love for you to be able to stop by and see us. So a little bit more about RX Balance, the owner of Quest and Nature's Harmony. RX Balance, formerly known as CCNP, has a long history with Purity Life. These brands were previous brands that were purchased from Purity Life. I've told you a bit about Quest and our experience in supplements since 1976. But a lot in the health food industry know of Nature's Harmony, and that brand has been around for many years, since 1936. And we focus more on the herbal supplement side with Nature's Harmony. But today we're going to talk to you about Quest and a new product line that we've got going on. So why are we here? We want to talk to you about the 5 stages of pregnancy. Basically what we're looking at is during pregnancy, women face different physiological needs, as well as the fetus is going through different unique needs. And what we've done is we've developed a supplement line that is unique to the 5 stages of pregnancy. We really want to ensure that for all of the stages, there's an opportunity to get the correct supplementation, both for the mom and for the baby. And now I'll let Pindy take over from here, and away you go.
All right, thanks, Jim. I don't know if my mic's working, so I'll just talk into it.
Yep.
So, hi everybody. Thank you, Jim. So I'm a pharmacist, and I'm the pharmacist consultant with Quest Vitamins on the PreNu line. So today we're going to be talking about the 5 stages of pregnancy and general nutrition. So I just wanted to preface that it's not taking into account any special populations. So if the mom has any sort of Crohn's or colitis or anything like that, we're not speaking to that today. It's very general. So when we think about stages of pregnancy, so traditionally we always just think like first trimester, second, and third. But what we wanted to talk about today was thinking of the complete picture and from beginning to after birth. So preconception, and then first, second, and third trimester, and then post and lactation. And like Jim had spoken to earlier, that every specific stage actually has its own needs. So that's what this line addresses. So key nutrients during pregnancy. So it's kind of funny, people think that it's supposed to be the super magic formula as to what a woman is supposed to be having when she's trying to conceive or when she is pregnant, but actually it's just following Canada's food guide. And so we do provide the references to everything that I do speak to today at the end of the presentation. So it's just keeping variety in the diet. So this is stuff we've all been exposed to and heard about. So, fruits and vegetables, whole grains, dairy products, and protein. So when we take the key elements that are important looking at each specific stage, so with preconception, you'll notice that folic acid is actually, it's listed here. It's also listed in the first trimester, and that's because folic acid itself it's really difficult to get it from food, so I'm going to talk about that later, why it's so important in supplementation, but it is particularly important in preconception and the first trimester. iron and calcium for pre. In the first trimester, it is folic acid. Second trimester, it is iron. And the third trimester is calcium. So I'll speak to why these are important later when we talk about the PreNu line itself. And then with lactation, it's B12, iron, and calcium. So folic acid, so it's important in preconception in the first trimester. So I won't read verbatim off the slides because you guys will have access to the slides after. So there's several different food sources of folic acid, but it's actually quite difficult to get still the adequate amount that is needed in pregnancy. But I just wanted to list the common ones are like lentils, dried beans, and the greener the vegetable, the better. So iron is important throughout the pregnancy, but it is particularly important in preconception, in the second trimester, and lactation. So it really has to do with what the primary job of iron is in the body, which is bringing oxygen to all the cells in the body. So that's why it's particularly important during those 3 stages. So food sources are ones that we hear about all the time, that, you know, red meats are actually a really good source of iron. Cooked mussels, clams, and oysters. Certain seeds are, as well as lentils, and there are some whole grain cereals that are also fortified with iron, as well as darky green, like spinach, like thinking of Popeye, right? So with calcium, it is important throughout the pregnancy. In particular, it is important during preconception, the third trimester, and lactation. In the third trimester is actually when the baby's bones are actually forming and they're getting bigger. So it's really important to have a lot of calcium during that time. And also for mom, it helps prepare her for childbirth. So having that bump up in the third trimester is quite important, and during lactation. So there's a common measurement that we use, like when I work in the pharmacy as well. So if you have a cup of milk, it's equal to 300 milligrams of calcium. So it's a good way to measure it, but not everybody wants to keep drinking milk all day long. So 50 grams of a lower fat cheese is also a good source, and then yogurt and kefir. So vitamin B12, so all the B vitamins are important throughout pregnancy. We bring particular attention to B12 because it actually is used a lot in DNA synthesis itself. So it's right down to the molecular level, so that's why it's so important. In particular, the second and third trimester and lactation. So a lot of the food sources that help with other nutrients, they also help with B12. So liver, kidney, and beef, herring and mackerel, eggs, and hard cheeses. So we did want to speak to foods to avoid, just more of helping complete this section of the talk, that, you know, what should you not be eating? So anything that's considered a high-risk food is something that may have the chance to be contaminated by an unsafe bacteria. So that would be your raw fish, so shellfish, oysters, and clams, any undercooked meat, poultry or seafood, hot dogs, deli meats. In general, manufactured or processed type foods are, it's recommended to avoid them. Raw or lightly cooked eggs, unpasteurized milk products, so soft cheese like camembert and brie, and unpasteurized juices like an apple cider, and then raw sprouts, which seems kind of random, but alfalfa sprouts, you're supposed to avoid them. So supplements. So why are supplements so important? So as much as, I mean, speaking from my own personal experience, as much as I know what I'm supposed to be eating, I don't always eat what I'm supposed to. And especially during pregnancy, the mom is already worried about so many other things. So when you're taking a supplement, it actually takes away some of that burden. It takes away some of the worry. And so that's why we do talk about supplementation and why it's so important during the stages of pregnancy. So our prenatal and our postnatal, so there's specific multivitamins and mineral nutrients for pregnancy and lactation. I will be speaking a little bit to our legacy product, which is called the Quest Prenatal. So those of you who are quite familiar with our line may already have that in your store. So I just have a point to bring up about that. We'll talk about the PreNu preparation and the PreNu first, second, and third trimester, as well as the postnatal. So with the PreNu lines, they're considered safer. And what we mean by that is that we've put in just the amount that's adequate to give you value, but we haven't overdone it because we're always taking into consideration that there will be vitamins and minerals obtained from the diet itself. And we specifically chose not to add any sort of an herbal ingredient to the formulas because we wanted everything to be based on scientific evidence. With sufficient, it goes to the amount itself. So we're going with the mindset that the lowest possible dose or the lowest possible amount is always the best amount. So we didn't want to overburden with anything. And when we look at the formula, certain things have been left out because we found that either they provided at that stage in pregnancy, you would be getting enough from your regular diet, or it's just not needed during that time. Okay, so they are in tablet form, so they're not a capsule or a soft gel. So that means that they won't contain other kind of medicinal ingredients. They're also gluten-free, no dairy, egg or shellfish, no artificial flavors or colors, and no preservatives. And the entire PreNu line is just once a day. So it's really easy for dosing. So our prenatal line, so this is our original product that was brought into this space of prenatal supplementation. So this is an alternative to other common brands that are out there. It is considered better tolerated and easier to absorb than other common supplements in this category, but it actually needs to be taken 3 times a day, which is kind of a pain. I can tell you as a pharmacist, people never take their stuff 3 times a day. But the point I really wanted to bring up was, so if you already have this, and we thank you for already carrying it, but it's not to be used in combination with any of the PreNu line. So if you have one of your customers who would like something new, they actually should not be using the original. They need to switch over to PreNu. Okay, so the prenatal line here, so it actually is quite complete, but it's going to be the identical formula throughout the entire stages of pregnancy. It won't change. I won't necessarily read off this because we have the notes here. And I believe, Jim, we do provide the information for what each ingredient does. We have all the write-ups available to you, so you can certainly get that information from Jim. So with the PreNu mommy and daddy to be the preparation, so it's one of the few product lines that actually addresses something that dad should be taking too. So for moms, the formulation has been devised such that it actually helps with regulating ovulation, and it helps with the overall health of the egg itself. For dad, it works to protect the sperm, and it also works in the improvement and the quantity and the quality of the semen. So what it does with both mom and dad taking the preparation, it is recommended that it starts maybe 12 weeks before the couple is deciding to conceive, and it provides a really solid foundation for the embryo at that time. So mommy-to-be preparation, so we're supporting optimal female fertility. And like I had mentioned, so it actually does help to improve the quality of the egg, and it's rich in trace elements that are very important for maintaining normal ovulation. And it does assist in meeting the iron needs of the fetus at the time of conception. So what that means is we want to make sure there's a good base of iron to begin with at the time of conception and not just start bumping up after, ideally. Okay, so these are like the key ingredients that I've listed here for the PreNu mommy-to-be, so folic acid. So folic acid is mentioned quite a bit in preparation and the first trimester because it's vital to the neural tube formation. So it's very important that the mom is taking an adequate amount. Vitamin D, the antioxidants, vitamin C and E. So antioxidants in general are your protector type vitamins. Iron itself is for bringing oxygen to your cells. And the B12 does help with DNA synthesis, so it makes sense that you would have a bump up, right? Copper itself is also used in a lot of different enzyme reactions. So what we didn't include at the time, because it's really not needed right now, was calcium or vitamin K, the manganese or vitamin A. So for dad, PreNu daddy-to-be preparation. So this is to help support optimal male fertility. So once again, this preparation only has scientifically based vitamins and minerals in it. There won't be any sort of herbals. There's a lot of hearsay and anecdotal things about certain herbs that should be used for fathers, but we wanted to stick with things that were proven and safe. So help maintain a healthy quantity and quality of the male semen. It helps to improve the conception rate itself and contributes to the overall health of the embryo. So with our PreNu daddy-to-be preparation, so specifically antioxidants again, C and E, zinc is used in a lot of different reactions, folic acid, magnesium. So magnesium in this case is actually working because it does it also works in a lot of different enzyme reactions at that time, vitamin Bs and then beta carotene. So now we get to the PreNu mommy-to-be first, second, and third trimester. So this is what caught my eye the very first time I saw these products, and when I met Jim, I saw them at a trade show just like this, and I had never seen anything like this before, where it was specific for first, second, and third. And I thought, and as a mom myself, I thought that was really cool, because you're so stressed and you don't think about, it's really tough to think, okay, I need to bump this up at this time, because you may not with your diet. So it was great to see something that was formulated for each stage. So it is tailored to the needs of not only mom and of course to the fetus at that time. And overall, the way that it's been formulated, it helps to enhance the immune system during each stage. So particular formula changes to look at as in terms of examples. With the first trimester, we did make sure we had a bump up in the folic acid. In the second trimester, the type of iron that we use in actually the entire PreNu line is an iron called heme iron. So there's lots of different types of iron that are available. Heme is actually considered the best absorbed and the best tolerated type of iron. And in the third trimester, there's a significant bump up in the amount of calcium. And that's actually, like I had mentioned, is that we get more bone formation in the fetus during that time, and it helps protect mom and prepares her for childbirth. So PreNu mommy-to-be first trimester, so it is supporting mom and fetus during the early stage, and it is enhancing the immune system. Vitamin K, folic acid, magnesium, vitamin C and B6, and what we omitted at that time was beta carotene because it's not needed during the first trimester. And in excessive amounts, it can actually be harmful to the fetus, so we chose not to include it at all. The PreNu mommy-to-be second trimester, so support to the mom and fetus specific to the second, immunity support, and it is a balanced ratio formula. And some certain ones to highlight here is manganese, calcium, zinc, the heme iron, antioxidants, and then vitamin B12 and vitamin K. So third, once again, you guys are seeing a theme, right? So it's specific to the needs of mom and fetus during the third trimester. And in addition, it does assist mom in preparation for childbirth. PreNu mommy-to-be third trimester, so iron and vitamin C. So the reason you actually have a little bit extra vitamin C whenever you take iron, it helps with the absorption. So you're already taking a really good iron in that it's heme iron, and then you add vitamin C to it, you actually get even better effects with that. Calcium, vitamin B1, 12, and vitamin K, manganese and magnesium. And just a little tidbit about magnesium, another benefit of it is, so there's two, it actually helps calcium be absorbed better when it's taken in combination. When calcium is taken as a supplement in higher amounts, it can cause constipation. But magnesium is actually something that's like a natural diarrhea causing type of supplement. So they help balance each other out. And so now we come to Lactanu, which is for the new mom. So this is supporting mom during breastfeeding, and it's rich in trace elements that are really important to contributing to a nutrient balanced breast milk. So for any of us who are moms and are aware that everything mom has, it will actually pass on to baby. So it's really important that everything mom is taking is the appropriate thing to be consuming. And it also, the way the formula has been set up, it does actually help the mom in recovery after childbirth as well. So certain ones to highlight for the Lactanu is calcium, vitamin D, magnesium, iron, copper, vitamin C, zinc, and good old vitamin B1 and 12, and of course folic acid. And I think it's back to Jim.
Yes, thank you.
Yes, you're welcome.